In this video, I'm going to be talking about every chess player's favourite subject, chess books. To be more exact, chess puzzle books, and I'm going to give my own top 5 chess puzzle books for the intermediate player. So first of all, what makes a good puzzle book for the intermediate player? We're talking 1200 to 1800, for example. Well, I believe you need good positions, you need volume of positions, and you need, good solutions that work, and the patterns need to be useful and transferable into other game positions. So briefly, before I give my top 5, I'm going to talk about the books that didn't make it onto my list, and I'm going to give the reasons why. So the Woodpecker Method is a book that's spoken about quite a lot. The reason it didn't make my top 5 is I've not got the book myself. It could be a good book. I have heard that some of the positions are too hard to really do the drilling, and it's not perfect for that. But it's got 1,100 positions in, so it's got the volume. And if you ignore, say, take away 100 positions that might not be very good, that might be a little bit too difficult, then that's probably a good book. But I've not got the book myself, so it's not going to make the top 5. On the actual Woodpecker Method itself, of drilling the positions over and over again, I do agree with that, but I much prefer the chessable space repetition that's spread out for longer periods of time. It doesn't make a massive amount of sense to me on a practical level to be drilling, hundreds and thousands of positions over like a 7-day period. I believe that you should be drilling those over a longer period of time. So the idea of this Woodpecker Method, I'm not 100% sold on, but I know many people have had that book and had some good results with it. This one, Think Like a Super GM, is also highly rated by a lot of people. However, I've not got the book, and there's just 40 positions in that book, and I'm not sure there's nowhere near enough volume there to be kind of a useful for me, for my practical purposes of getting lots of patterns into my head and into my actual games. So I don't think 40 positions is really good, and I don't buy the idea that like Super GMs are thinking differently. Like they just got more store of patterns. So the idea for me is to get the tactical positions, in front of you, into your head, into your game. And with only 40 positions, I just wouldn't even touch that book, to be honest. So lastly, before I get on to my actual top 5, the Jeff Oakley book actually is very highly rated by a lot of different people. I've not got the book again, so it's not one that I'm going to comment on really, but I don't think there's that many positions in that book. I do believe that the positions are good. Dan Heersman recommends the book, and a lot of people swear by that one. So that's probably another good book. Anyway, let's get on to my personal top 5 with chess puzzle books I've had experience with. So, number 5, I will put Ray Chang's 600 Practical Chess Exercises in. Now, this is a puzzle book like no other book, really. So, in the book, you are given 600 positions, and you don't know what they are, whether they're tactical or positional. I think most of them are tactical, and, you don't know what sort of level they are. So, that does a good job of making you look at the position like it's a proper chess game, right, rather than training. There are pros and cons with that. I like that idea where you're looking at the board and you don't know what to expect, and you do have to sort of analyze the position as you would do a normal game. That's really good. But the other side of that is that for training tactical purposes, sometimes it's recommended that you know the themes and the positions are tactical in nature, whether they're mates or non-mates. There's evidence to suggest that does improve your pattern recognition. So there are swings and roundabouts with that one, but nevertheless, it is a very good book. So number 4, I'm going to put the Chess Steps Method. I've got one of these books. There are advantages and disadvantages with these as well. So they are quite flimsy. They don't look and feel very good. They feel like, 1960s school textbooks, which is probably what they are. I think it was written in the 80s though. And, they're a bit flimsy, a bit paper-based. But the idea is that you build up, starting from book 1, like a beginner level, book 2, book 3, and so forth, and the positions increase and get more difficult. So I do like that kind of journey from simple to more complicated positions, and they do cover a lot of themes in there. And I think, though, a lot of these are written before computers, so I think some of the solutions may be not so accurate in some of the cases. But overall, they're not a bad set of books, but probably quite an investment if you're going to get a whole lot of those books, really. What I would do is, if you're interested in that, is just sample one of them. Try and find the right level so you get the right idea, whether the right idea for you. But I think there are better books out there. Number 3, I'm going to put the Manual of Chess Combinations Volume 2. So I have Volume 3 at home, which, there we go, is too hard. Right, this is for 2,000 to 2,200 level players. The Volume 2, I believe, is the intermediate level. and there's a 1A and 1B where they're more for beginner levels. Now, I've seen a couple of positions from book 2, but I've not actually got it, but I have seen them, and I know that the person who had the book recommended the book. And if the structure is anything like book 3, it's broken down into different areas of calculation and tactical patterns and different types of branching. So it is a good book. It is really well structured. I've got a slight problem with my Chess School 3 book. There's about 70 pages missing in the middle. I only just found that out last week. So obviously I've not studied that all the way through because it's too hard. So number 2, I'm going to put this absolute classic puzzle book that everybody needs to have, and it's this one, the Lev Albert 300 Positions Pocket Book. It is beautiful. There's just 300 positions in there, so it makes it a little bit short in terms of the ideal textbook, but those positions certainly pack a punch. They're very, very good. They're very, very memorable. And there are also some king and pawn endings in there. I think there are 15 positions, which is, I think it's 15 or 20. And it basically says if you do those, then you become a pretty good king and pawn endgame player. And all the puzzles in there are absolutely superb. It does what it says as well. It fits perfectly into a pocket. You can carry that around with you. I've taken that on many, many train journeys before. It's an absolutely fantastic book. Definitely recommend it. So it brings me on to number 1, and this is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but for the sheer volume, it has to be this one, the Paul Gore Brick Book, Chess 5334. Right, this is huge, and the only downside is actually how big it is, so it's not very practical to carry around. But if you've got this at home and you're willing to invest a lot of time in it, there are loads and loads of positions in this book, mainly made up of mates in 1, 2, and 3. But there are also tactical motifs of quick games in there as well. And, you might think, well, mates in 2, mates in 3, I don't really need that. But, there are grandmasters who play through this and train through this, do this sort of space repetition on these mates in 3. And, they recommend the book as well. So it's not to be looked down upon. There are only mates in there. There are no sort of other tactical themes, which would have been better. But I think within the checkmate positions, we were covering a lot of different tactical positions as well. So that is a kind of essential chess book. Although nowadays with online stuff, I'm not sure it's absolutely essential, but we're talking chess books here. We're not talking online resources. So yeah, of chess books, you've got masses of volume in this one. And with the pocket book, you've got really nice positions that you can take away. So 2 chess books that I would have is those top 2. And then probably sitting somewhere in the middle is the Manual of Chess Combinations 2. So that's my top 5. So obviously I've not covered all the puzzle books out there in the market. My first puzzle book was the Chess Traveller's Quiz book by Julian Hodgson. That's got some nice positions in, but they get too hard later on. And I've got the Batsford, I think it's Batsford puzzle book. That's quite hard as well. That's more of a calculation thing. So those other 2 that I didn't make the list, and I've got a couple of other books that just didn't quite make the list either. So let me know what you think. Have I missed any puzzle books? Are those puzzle books down there that didn't make the top 5 because I've not got them? Should they be in the top 5? If you've not had enough book talk, you can watch this old video of mine, top 5 chess books for the adult improver. Right? Obviously, we just need to talk about chess books all the time. That's all we need to do. Right? So watch that video if you're interested in looking at my general recommendations for the adult chess improver. All right, so thank you. Take care.